Hello, good evening, and welcome to Cricket Country's live analysis of the fourth day's play, the end of play between India and England in the first Test match going on at Rajkot. What we got to see today in the final session was a fantastic display of batting by England. They reached 114 for no loss, and they extended their lead to as many as 163 runs in the second innings. I'm here, Devasir Kama from Cricket Country, and with me here is my colleague Swajit, and we are going to discuss about how the game panned out in the final session throughout the day, as well as what we can expect in the time to come. And we have only one day, one full day's play left, and what was looking like a possibility is now converting into a very strong probability. The draw. This Test match, since the wickets have not tumbled at a very fast rate, we can expect that this match, we can say that this game is heading towards a draw.
Yes, it is definitely heading towards a draw, but then we can expect very good fifth day's cricket because England right now are in a commanding position. They have they lead by 163. I think they look to bat for maybe another session or another session in 10 overs, and if they add another say 120 odd runs, because we can expect them to accelerate tomorrow morning, and maybe we are looking at something. We might end up in a situation where India are left with 50 overs and they are chasing around something around 270, 280.
270, 280. England's lead overall is around 163. We can expect England to add another 30-40 odd runs in the first hour or so, because England batsmen, both the batsmen, Hasib Hamid and their captain Alistair Cook, they have batted very well so far in the day. So far in the second innings, and England want to definitely make a strong statement in the second innings as well, not allowing the Indian bowlers to have their say at all. What you can expect is England to bat a little longer post lunch and give but at least put up a total, put up a target which is out of India's reach probably, so that India do not, even if they have to declare at some point of time, because if England go on batting, then they will be criticized for not pushing for a result in this match. But even if they say, suppose if they declare somewhere halfway through the second session, then they will have to make sure that they have enough runs on the board, and I think that total should be around 350.
350 to get 350, that means England will have to get another 190 odd runs.
Yeah.
And for that, they will have to bat close to two sessions, or maybe just little less than two sessions to get there. I'm not very sure. I think what would be the ideal thing to do is one thing that you said, I completely agree that England will have to ensure that
They declare at some point.
there is no chance that India can win this match.
Exactly.
Having been in a commanding position and then losing out, England have been in such situations before.
Correct.
But they would like to ensure that. But having said so, I think the ideal thing for Cook would be to make Virat Kohli believe that this particular total is feasible, and that will make the Indians go for those runs. Like if you're chasing 350 runs in 40 odd overs, it would. India know that the game is heading towards a draw, because in the final day in a Test match, scoring around 7-8 in over is probably not possible. So I think it will be a tricky decision to make. At the same time, knowing this particular Indian unit under Virat Kohli, like the Adelaide, going back to the Adelaide match in 2014, Kohli's first Test as captain, he went for the chase. He has made it very clear. He made it very clear that
you want India to bat aggressively, and keeping in mind the game has panned out. Not a single day, so many sessions so far, so many twists and turns, but not wickets tumbling at a regular interval. Today we had about how many? 6 wickets falling throughout the day, right? Because India were 4 down with the ending the play at 319 runs on the board in the first innings, and England did not lose any wickets. So only 6 Indian wickets fell in the entire day. And on for the day, if this is the case, then we cannot expect a lot of wickets falling on the final day at least.
Yes, the wicket has not deteriorated the way we all expected it to. There has been those odd turn and bounce, but usually in subcontinent conditions, especially in India, we expect the wicket to do much more than what it has done today. So keeping that in mind, this game is heading towards a draw. until and unless there is an exceptional spell of bowling by any English spinner, which is again very unlikely to happen. We don't see. I mean, we might not see a result. So let's see. I mean, how the two captains approach the fifth day, and a scoring declaration will actually make this match exciting.
Make this match exciting. Actually, what I feel is personally, uh, had India not dropped those many catches in the first day, had England were not allowed to put up so many runs on the board in the first innings, this match would have headed a completely different way because it has the pitch has remained very conducive for batting. Actually struggled to put to get the wicket. They have been able to put the balls in the right areas, but there's just no enough amount of venom off the pitch. So keeping that in mind, India's defensive approach can also be talked about, but probably after the game when the game is over, because they ultimately they are the ones who get out of batting to the wicket. There was a lot of grass which was left on the wicket intentionally. This is for something that we can discuss after the game has been ends in a draw. But from now, what will be Alistair Cook's strategy going into the fifth day if he has to win the match?
I think go out, score quick runs. They have good batting. I mean, we have to mention Asif Mohammed today. He's batted exceptionally well today because he's just a 19-year-old guy. He's just played 20 odd first class games. He has no experience playing in subcontinent conditions. Mind you, he has not even played a list A game for his county side. So he's that young, and I mean, and playing against India in India, against the likes of Ashwin, Jadeja, who carry a reputation of being between the top bowlers, and these are the conditions tailor made for them, and excelling against them. I think it speaks a lot about the young boy. Again, it's sort of surreal that he got it in Gujarat where his family hails from. So yeah, Hamid has batted well, no doubt. Hamid there has been a positive intent in his batting, and if we see ahead, Cook can also accelerate if needed. There is Ben Duckett to come, Joe Root, there is Ben Stokes, so they have a lot of players who can actually accelerate. So I think what Cook should be looking at is now they have 160. I think probably maybe play a bit cautiously in the first hour of the day, ensure okay the lead is over say suppose 200, and then accelerate and get say suppose another 70-80 runs, and again it will be an ideal situation if they give India 50-55 overs and some a score around 280 290.
Correct.
Which is
Correct. Looking at the third day, how the third day panned out for India. They started off the wicket in the second over of the day, and they had to wait for the flurry of wickets, which actually came their way at the end of the day on the on the third day. What happened in between was a very resolute show of batting by the Indian batsmen. I was reading a little bit about what England assistant coach Mr. Paul Fabris had to say about the day's play and the England strategy. Even though it did fail to take a lot of take the wicket for a major part of the day, they were very happy with their performance because what their strategy was, it was to strangulate the Indian batsmen, it's not to allow them to score. But Cheteshwar Pujara with his aggressive score, and everybody else was able to do it. Keeping that in mind, will Alistair Cook go with the same ideology that okay, let's keep India out there in the park. Let's start making them believe that they cannot take English wickets as they that easily as they took against New Zealand, against Sri Lanka, against South Africa, against West Indies, and in their past 4 Test series.
See, I mean, if definitely, I think Cook should look to win this particular encounter, and I mean, one approach is to bat the entire fifth day and just tire out the Indian bowlers and prove a point that you cannot bowl us out. I mean, that is a way to look at things, but I think Cook having won a series already in India in 2020, he would like to continue doing that because if England do not make a sporting declaration or they decide to continue batting at that fifth day, I believe they will be criticized. They'll be heavily criticized, and I mean, and it will not be a right thing to do because anyways we have been talking a lot about the decline of interest in Test cricket. I mean, and these sort of things will do no good to the game.
Exactly. Coming back to India, the way India have bowled, India have tried a lot. Indian bowlers were very hardworking, at least in the final session. They bowled as many as 37 overs, but they were not able to make any breaks. What happened? What we got to see was some sharp turn, some amount of bounce. Alistair Cook was lucky. One of the inside just bounced over the wickets and did not go on to hit the wickets. Anything different which India can try with the ball, because so far so good for England. Indian bowlers have not been able to make their mark.
I think, see, I mean, one thing which I think England should improve. I mean, these are still, learning stages for Virat Kohli as a captain, and because he has not been challenged yet. I mean, this is probably the first test where he has been really challenged by a heat. It has been an easy ride for him throughout in the series, and through all the tests that he has led in India. But then, I think Amit Mishra should have been brought in a lot earlier. He came to bowl after the 26th over. If you see, I mean, the kind of bounce and turn that Adil Rashid was getting. Adil Rashid was getting, and I mean, we honestly believe that Mishra, with his experience and with his skills, is slightly, I mean, ahead in terms of reputation than Adil Rashid. So probably I think India lost an opportunity because you had a young right-handed batsman playing, and with a leg spinner you could have attacked more. And we saw Hamid was not really very comfortable against Mishra in the couple of balls that he played, and if you remember the last ball of the day, that really spun and bounced. So I believe that Kohli has been making a few mistakes, and like on the second day we saw Jadeja being brought in very late. On day one we saw Mishra just falling 8 or 9 overs.
He bowled actually 10 overs for 42 runs, 43 runs without any wicket.
So yeah, we have a question from Anish. Should this innings be a warning for India of what might be coming out? Solid batting and tight bowling from England. It will be a test for Kohli.
It is definitely going to be a test for Kohli, not just Kohli, Anish. It is going to be a test for the entire Indian setup right now. What kind of planning is going through? What kind of pitches they have been wanting the curators to prepare? What kind of impression they want to continue making on the scene of on the international cricket scene? Because at the end of the day, what we have to realize is just 1 year of what we have as Virat Kohli as captain, and he is a pretty young captain compared to somebody like Alistair Cook, who has been around for at least 5 years as England's captain, and he has won a couple of series all over the world. He has won in South Africa, he has won in India, he has won in Australia, not as a captain, but he has won Ashes against Australia. So I mean, it's a huge chasm between the leadership of these two sides. But what Virat Kohli can definitely do is to keep batting, keep scoring runs, because of his individual performance is right up there among the best. If he is getting the runs, then what it will tell England that okay, he's not getting bogged down from any sort of fight, and he's leading from the front. And if the captains are able to do that, we got to see the shambles which Australia were in right now today. They were bowled out for 85, but Steven Smith, the man who was criticized heavily for being too soft, for being weak against, for being technically inept against the moving ball, he remained unbeaten on 40. Now these are very small but very strong and solid statements that the captains can make through their own individual performances. As far as captaincy is concerned, as far as inspired bowling changes are concerned, as far as putting those smart fielding positions are concerned, now this all comes to a captain. Either it is ingrained or it comes to them as as they go on captaining their own individual sides. Cook in comparison to Kohli is a very experienced leader, and Kohli is definitely learning. He's definitely getting there. He started with Ravindra Jadeja today because he was wanting Jadeja to get the bounce, dominate the England openers with the bounce and turns with the hard new ball. He is also thinking. He is also putting a lot of process and thoughts behind the scene. But what India have to also address is they don't have to feel disheartened about it, because Kohli is one guy who gets very frustrated, very disheartened about things which are not, especially when things are not going in favor of him. So if captain is more resilient, if the captain is more steady, calm and composed, then the team is also strong enough, and that is what we have seen with MS Dhoni all these years, isn't it?
True, I absolutely agree with you. on this point. But do you think, I mean, that we have seen a lot of catches being dropped in this particular game? Cook dropped one.
Something was wrong with the air in Rajkot, or probably the food, because the teams have been both the teams have been very poor and in the field. And if India were edging ahead of England in terms of the use of ARS was concerned, Ravichandran Ashwin showed some amount of desperation when he took that review and wasted it against Sasi Bangi.
But I think the important bit for the bowlers will be, not to lose enough heart because it's been a very tough game for them.
Exactly.
They have toiled hard, in these conditions and with not much of success, especially for the Indian bowlers. I would say Indian spinners. Surprisingly, the English spinners got more wickets than the Indian spinners.
Yeah. I was very surprising to do. But only Adil Rashid who got 4 wickets. Moeen Ali got his first wicket in the 27th over of his innings. Stuart Broad was very frustrated. He's playing his 100th test match, a very ordinary outing for him as well. So keeping that in mind, we can expect Indian bowlers to have some sort of say tomorrow morning. The ball was also pretty new today, 37 overs old ball. Let's see if they can make any difference at all. We'll get back to India and we'll get back to the possible results that we can have. As of now, 90% the game looks good because still 4 days, 4 days into the test match, not a single session or a single ball, single delivery loss because of bad weather or any other condition. But a flurry of wickets is what has been missing from this particular test match. So if England or India, either of the sides have to push for win, they have to take 10 wickets within the day to have a result in their favor. Is that going to happen?
I mean, it's tough to say because this wicket has been very good to bat on, and I mean, we also have to give credit to the batsmen. Like we could have seen the 30 of wickets today had Ashwin and Ridhwan Saha had not dropped the anchor at that point of time. I mean, they in India were in a better situation at that point of time, having lost 6 wickets. I mean, they were almost 180, 190 runs behind the English total, and had that happened, England would have been in a very strong position, and I mean they would have been in a winning position, I would say.
Correct. The series, keeping the series in mind and keeping how the schedule has been designed, it's going to be a big test of both the teams because the first test match has gone into the 5th day, and in all probability, it is going to end in a draw towards the end of the final day. What they will have is one day for traveling to Visakhapatnam, where the second test match is going to be played, and probably one more day for preparations. Keeping this in mind, I mean, obviously, second test will be very tiring for both the players, for the players from both the teams. But from now, let's wait and see if Alistair Cook or either Virat Kohli, either of them, they come out with something even more, something special, something different in this test match. They try and push for it. But for that, we'll have to wait and watch. Thank you for tuning into CricketCountry.com. Keep following us. We have live blogs up and running in English as well as Hindi language. We'll be signing off right now. We'll be back again tomorrow morning with the preview, sort of an analysis before the start of the day's play. Let's hope we do get we do get a result towards the end of the game. This is all we have for now. Thank you.